Welcome back to another segment of WannaBet UFC's Play of the Week. Just to quickly recap, if you've been tailing me, you should be up 11 units hot off the heels of the wildly successful underdog pick of the Korean Zombie at plus 281 over Dustin Poirier. Now, moving on to the Tough Life finale, rule number 1 of WannaBet UFC's Play of the Week is to fade hype prospects that get overvalued by the public, much like Dustin Poirier, and there is no more of an overhyped prospect right now than Charles Oliveira. To quickly hone in on Jonathan Brookins' weaknesses and how he can be beaten, first and foremost, Jonathan Brookins has very vulnerable striking defense, to which Jose Aldo exploited it in WEC 36 by landing a straight right punch and following it up with a flurry of punches on the ground for a TKO. Now, Charles Oliveira has very flashy Muay Thai. He has excellent kicks, he has excellent knees, but he does not have very good straight punches. In fact, he's only had one wildly successful conventional boxing strike, which was a short right uppercut versus Nick Lentz that dropped him, to which Nick Lentz was able to recover. I feel that Charles Oliveira has overstated striking advantage in this matchup by most people in the perceived striking disadvantage, and that Jonathan Brookins will be able to hold his own in terms of defending kicks and knees, much like he did against Eric Koch recently, who's a much better striker than Charles Oliveira, for about 4 minutes of that 3-round fight. So, the other area of vulnerability for Jonathan Brookins in this fight is the hyper-aggressive BJJ of Charles Oliveira. Now, I feel that Jonathan Brookins will have the octagon control advantage throughout this fight, and he's also the stronger fighter of the two and will have top control for the vast majority of this fight. Now, Charles Oliveira has very aggressive sweeps and sub-attempts off his back, and one of his particular favorite sub-attempts is the heel hook, to which he was brilliantly countered by Jim Miller at UFC 124, and ultimately submitted by Jim Miller. And frankly, the last person to attempt a heel hook on Jonathan Brookins ended up waking up in the hospital, so I wouldn't necessarily advocate that by DuBronx in this matchup. So overall, I feel that Charles Oliveira has a very threatening sub and sweep game, although Jonathan Brookins is a very savvy grappler in his own right and is a Gracie Barra purple belt, and in my opinion will be able to tread cautiously through a lot of the submission and sweep attempts. And if he ever feels particularly threatened, I feel that he has the octagon control advantage to then move the fight for the most part to the clinch, to which Charles Oliveira was vulnerable in rounds 1 and 3 to being controlled by Efrain Escudero. So ultimately I feel that Jonathan Brookins has the advantage to take this fight where he would like it, and that his perceived vulnerabilities in striking defense and submissions are grossly overstated in this fight. I personally capped this fight at even to slightly in Jonathan Brookins' favor, so I advocate a 3-unit play on Jonathan Brookins at plus 170. So, here again, cheers to another dog cash. And hey, if you disagree with the pick, deal with it.